All right, so welcome to Esoterica, the podcast. I'm Aaron Christian, and
I'm Chris Schultz.
joining us today is Nicole Hendizadeh, who's the culinary producer of Mythical Kitchen and the host of A Hot Dog is a Sandwich. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, how are you gentlemen doing today?
Doing pretty good. 4th of July, can't complain.
Happy 4th of July.
Same to you.
First time I've been home for the 4th of July in 10 years.
Me too. I don't think I'm leaving the house for any reason whatsoever. Not to get hot dogs, not to get burgers, not to look at fireworks. I'm just going to sit in my room for the majority of the day. Maybe watch some YouTube videos. That's pretty much all I'm going to do.
That's a solid plan.
That's all I ever do anyways. So the first question we usually ask everyone that comes on the show is, given the current global situation, how has the current pandemic affected your life?
Well, I don't really leave the house very often. I live with my parents to this day, and my parents, they're a little bit older, so I've taken a lot of precautions just to stay at home as much as I can. I have been going on a lot of walks, which is quite lovely. I've been exploring Los Angeles a lot more. I actually went on a great little hike around Griffith Observatory, like down Ferndale Road. It was really lovely. I've been on the internet a lot. I've been cooking at home a lot, more than I usually do. So it's been okay. You know, I haven't been personally affected by COVID at all, thank God, and I hope to not be at all. But so far, it's been okay. It's been annoying, but we kind of have to do what we have to do and stay home. So I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing?
2 months ago, I said to Aaron, wouldn't it be fun if we reached out to famous people and asked them about their favorite musics? That's what we've been doing with ourselves.
And then I got really hungry one night and started watching Mythical Kitchen. I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to have, somebody from that show on? And I'm so glad that you were able to come on and spend some time with us.
Oh, of course. I'm glad you guys watch. It's a really fun environment. We basically just get to do whatever we want, which that kind of creative freedom I've never really experienced before. So I'm having a kick-ass time at Mythical Kitchen.
Yeah, I love, seeing when you guys are talking about, I've never not measured so many things before, or just so many norms that you're just breaking on the show. So
oh
really
my
cool.
gosh, it's a lot of feeling. We cook by feeling at Mythical Kitchen.
So you podcast as well.
Yeah,
What's it been like for you podcasting during this time? Any change to that, or are you finding it easier to do?
So I was used to working with a big crew of people. We had sound mixers, we had producers, directors, because I've never done anything podcast related before in my existence. I've never put headphones on to speak in a microphone. I've never experienced that before. And whenever we transitioned into the stay-at-home mode, I basically had to learn how to do all that stuff myself in my room. So I was finding out what levels are. I learned how to format an SD card. I just learned so much that I had no idea how vital it was to record a podcast until I finally got to experience it myself. And it was so interesting. I had no idea how much goes into actually recording and making sure your stuff goes into the interweb and stuff. It's so detailed. And I didn't know that until I actually learned how to do 80% of it myself. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I think we recorded our first episode of our podcast. We were in a cabin down at a camp, a scout camp.
Nice.
And so we just did it on our phone, and we've come a long way since then. That's for sure. But
yeah, got a cool background and everything. It says
we got our own logo. We feel so cool now. So the reason why we asked you on the show is because we asked you to pick a esoteric, kind of unknown album, but something that kind of is your favorite of that. What you can get out of something being esoteric. So you picked Black Sands by the English DJ Bonobo, 2010 release. Can you speak to maybe what kind of relationship you have with the album?
Sure. So I'm a big music nerd ever since I was a kid and I found out what Napster was and what LimeWire was. I would just download I know this sounds horrible, but I would download tens of thousands of songs, and I took pride in having a really full library of music, no matter what it was. So I would Google, so silly. I would Google longest songs ever recorded. and I would like go and download that off of LimeWire just to have that. By the way, the longest song I had on there was Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden. And I just love music so much. But that song, that album in particular, I watched Adult Swim when I was a kid a lot. So in the middle of their like ad breaks and stuff, they would have really, really cool music in between it. So I would Google like Adult Swim ad music, and then I found out this song, Kong by Bonobo. And I just like became obsessed with that whole entire album. And I bought it. I physically bought the copy, and I would listen to it in my car every single time I would drive. From the second, like, it doesn't matter where I was going, to the grocery store, if I was going to school, didn't matter. I would just listen to that obsessively, and I just fell in love with it. It was just such easy listening for me, I think is what I really liked. It would just allow me to turn my brain off and just coast and just chill and relax, which I really, really enjoyed with that kind of music.
So I'm on I'm on vacation in New Hampshire at the moment, and when I listened to it just before having you on, I got a very similar vibe of that. Just shut your brain off and relax, and there's like mountains and stuff around me, so it helps that vibe a little bit more. And I can kind of relate to the car thing too, because I find there are certain albums or certain songs that I like that I relate with certain trips I drove to in the car because I had that song on, and now whenever I have that, it's always that moment or something like that. So I forget where my point was there, but yes.
Go ahead, Mad Wanderer. Go ahead.
I say the last person we spoke to was Freddie Johnston, and he was asking if we had a suggestion for him of music he could just kind of zone out to, and I think we have a pick for him now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I've always liked down-tempo, trip-hop, turntablism, that kind of music I've always really resonated with, and I've always really enjoyed. So anything that kind of allows me to chill out and just enjoy the beat. I also really enjoy repetitive beats, I've learned. Music that's repetitive and really calming and has a nice even flow to it really, really speaks to me.
Do you have a favorite track on this album?
For sure, Kong. Kong by Bonobo is my jam.
That was the one I when I was listening to it, I had to go back on Spotify. I'm like, what is the name of this one? So I know to go back and do it again. It was that one. So
awesome. Yeah, and there's a few guest singers on there too, and I don't know the name of the artist that's the singer on it, but her voice just is so melodic and matches perfectly with the music. And again, I don't really zone out to music that has lyrics in it, but her voice is so calming and so melodic and so relaxing that it really adds to the down-tempo nature of it. So it's just a perfect album in my opinion. and like I personally like, I feel like people my age don't really listen to full albums anymore. We just kind of get songs that we enjoy here and there. But that album just really, really is something I can listen to from front to back. No problem.
Absolutely. So to shift gears just a little bit, well, no,
sure.
A lot of it, I guess, but we're going to shift gears for a second. So given that you're the first culinary expert that we've had on the show, and on your podcast, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich, you had an episode called Our Pop-Tarts Ravioli, and you had another one is Cereal Soup.
Yes. So
we've discussed on this show at length something called the cube rule. Have you heard of that before?
Is it the one that says a taco is a hot dog is a taco? Is that the one?
Something along those lines. It's explaining what defining foods based upon the starch located around it.
Yeah, I've seen it before, but I haven't studied it.
So
it's erroneous. That's all you need to know is it's erroneous.
So I wanted to ask what your opinion would be on defining foods based upon where the starch is located around them.
I don't know if I would define anything based on the starch, because when you think about it, there's so much modernity in food. Like a pho burrito is like really, really big right now. Like putting noodles in a burrito. I don't know if that necessarily changes the landscape of a burrito. Is putting the noodles in it making it pho, or is it still a burrito? Is it a wrap at that point? Who knows? I think it's up to the intention of the chef and the restaurateur that's doing the actual cooking to define it, more so than the general public. That's how I like to lead most of these
'cause
podcasts. I think about the intention of the chef.
there's a whole website that goes on about what the cube rule is, using quotes from Twitter and stuff. But I don't think Twitter is a good good thing to explain exactly what food is. Although apparently the state of New York defines that a hot dog is a sandwich. So
I don't think I'm ever going to define a hot dog as a sandwich, and I don't think I should. I don't think that's up to me. I think it is up to the collective in that sense. The collective should decide. And once we get to that point, I think society will just collapse and no longer exist.
Has anybody thought to ask the hot dog what it wants to be?
See? You're asking the real questions.
Right. And it's funny because and Aaron has insisted on numerous times that a hot dog is a taco, because the argument that they had on the cube roll is that it's surrounded on 3 sides by starch, but I would argue that that roll is bifurcated and it's just a hinge. It's not a side.
Yeah, I think a taco is it's a regional food and should be treated as such, and is so iconic that it should be respected as a taco. I think calling a hot dog as a taco is kind of sacrilegious. I'm sorry, Aaron. I understand where you're coming from.
That's okay.
But I just disagree with you 150%.
The cube rule is a big part of my life, and I'm very much offended. I'm joking, of course.
I guess I got to study the cube rule next time I come on this podcast, so I can really get into depth.
There's a website I will shoot to you, and you can get really right into depth. They have diagrams and all.
Great. Can't wait. Is it going to say that a bread bowl is a hot dog?
A bread bowl, I think a bread bowl is what, a quiche or something like that?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
these people are crazy.
They're nuts. They're nuts.
Yeah, well, that's like a pie. It can be a quiche. It can be a taco. There's like 3 different things that a pie can be, depending on whether it's an open-face pie, closed-face, or it's a slice. And I'm like, what? A pie is a pie.
This is like highbrow shit for me, man. Just give me a slice of pie and I'll shut up.
Oh, dear God. And it's cereal soup. Are we getting into that argument? Because
I don't know if we want to, because we almost got fist fight about that, Chris. Colonial suspension. Is that how we defined it?
In the beginning, I was convinced that cereal is not soup, and then my lovely, lovely co-host Josh Scherer twisted it, chopped it, screwed it, ruined my whole outlook on life. And then I agree that cereal is soup, which is how the podcast normally goes. I am set in my intentions, and then he creates what-if scenarios, and my brain just goes, bleh! And then I agree with him.
Something I love about Josh on the show is that he just knows how to break something down to the point where even somebody like me can understand what's going on. So it's nice.
100%. That's kind of his MO. And that's why we love him.
So you get a challenge, Aaron, because you have yet to convince me that cereal is a soup.
I'm no Josh.
Maybe Cocoa Krispies, because it turns the milk brown, but
okay, see, there's room to learn, and that's what's great about you.
Yeah. I can grow as a person.
Yes, you can grow. That's what this podcast is about, growth.
It is.
So what is, at some point, we're hoping that things will go back to the way we remember them. What's next for you in the Mythical kitchen?
Honestly, just to keep cooking, just come up with new concepts and keep it fresh and just entertain people through the medium of food, I think is the way to go. Because everyone at Mythical Kitchen, Josh, Trevor, who's a wonderful 20-year-old, brilliant, funny, talented kid. I call him a kid, but he's 20 years old. And all 3 of us are just really, really passionate about food. And aside from being passionate about food, we love making people laugh. That's like our undecided mission in life, is just to make people laugh and to make people happy. So I think doing that through the medium of food is all we want to do. It's the most important thing for us.
Yeah, I just recently found out that he was 20 and I'm also 20, and that we're the same age, and it's weird seeing people do things that are my age like that. So makes me feel like, wow, Trevor's up here, and then I gotta figure myself out.
No, Trevor's the best. He's a young whippersnapper.
So if there's one thing you'd like to see come out of the whole world after this pandemic experience, what would it be?
That's a great question. I don't know. That's a great question. I guess wear your mask when people say to wear your mask. Is that a good one?
Hey, you know, it would prevent people from getting sick, right?
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing to take out of it.
I think wearing a mask on your face for a little bit isn't that big of a deal. You know, I think that's the takeaway from this. Like, wearing a mask when you go out to the grocery store is not a big deal. Just wear it. You know, use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Just do things to keep others safe. I think is one thing that we should learn, I guess. Keep the people you love and people you don't love. Respect thy neighbor, and, you know, keep things safe and clean so this doesn't happen again. Also, make a vaccine. One of you people listening to this, someone make a vaccine.
Oh my God. I just happened to, you know, this is the thing about social media that I love, what we're doing right now. That's awesome and powerful. But the flip side of that, like town groups on Facebook are a little cesspool. And I just saw yesterday, people in our own town, someone put up a poll, would you take a vaccine if they have one? And like 70% were like, no. I'm like, so you want to do this for the rest of your life? You want to just keep wearing masks and not being able to go to a restaurant? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm in an LA mommies group. Yo, it gets messy in there. There is like so much drama. It's wonderful. It really keeps me entertained. That's the one thing I've been doing during this pandemic that I love. I've just been searching up LA mommy groups and laughing at the absurdity of how people talk to each other. It's so ridiculous. People are mean on the internet.
Oh, they are. They wouldn't dare say a thing to you in person, but on the internet, they're all keyboard warriors.
I was going to say keyboard warriors. So rude. People are just not nice out there, man, behind the computers.
So, Nicole, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your 4th of July to talk to us and, you know, chit-chat about life in the cube roll and, you know, telling me I'm wrong with the sandwich thing.
I win.
Really, thank you so much.
That's the exact happy dance I do. I go, I win every time I win one of the debates on a hot dog is a sandwich. I do that same little shimmy.
Nice.
I'll wait for the day when I can do my own happy dance. But Nicole, thank you so much. And yeah.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I have homework for you guys, by the way, to listen to some albums. Can I send some your way?
Yes,
please.
please.
Yeah, please do.
Can I tell you some right now? Can I just rattle off some? Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to go into my notes folder. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. These are some weird, not so popular albums that I want you guys to listen to. Jungle. I mean, the artist is Jungle. The album is Forever. Chet Faker, Build on Glass. Kronbin, Con Todo El Mundo. 99.9% by K Tronada. Malibu by Anderson .Paak. The Man with the Iron Fist soundtrack, which is an amazing soundtrack that has Bad Bad Not Good, Kanye, some people from Wu-Tang Clan, and So How's Your Girl by Handsome Boy Modeling School, aka anything that Dan the Automator has worked on. It's really great.
So Handsome Boy Modeling School, we interviewed a little while ago now, Alexander Siddig, who is Dr. Bashir on Deep Space Nine.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That was one of his picks. He's like, he absolutely loved that band.
Anything Dan the Automator does is crazy, but Handsome Boy Modeling School is also one of those albums where I listened to one song of it and it just opened up a whole musical world for me. So great. I'm glad he has good taste.
Can we ask you one more thing before you go?
Of course.
If you don't mind doing, and you could totally say no. Would you mind doing a little promo for us? Like,
sure.
I'm Nicole from the Mythical Kitchen. You listen to Esoterica, the podcast?
Sure. I'm Nicole Hendizadeh from Mythical Kitchen, and you're listening to Esoterica, the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Of course, guys. Enjoy your 4th of July. It was a pleasure speaking to you guys.
You too.
Yeah,
thank you.
you.
Thank you for spending some time with us.
Bye.
Bye.